Season's greetings to you all. I hope the festive period has been joyous for everyone. Here at GPFans, we've been arguing. It's a tradition at Christmas, of course, but we've been arguing over who our top 10 drivers are for the last calendar year, and we've finally been able to put them into our definitive list. So sit back and relax, and let us guide you through our top 10 drivers of last season. Was the French driver as dependable and impressive as ever in the Alpine last year? Yes. Did he provide the team with their best result of the season with a 4th place finish in Japan? He certainly did. Was he also affected by the lack of reliability from the French constructor? Yeah, for sure. Esteban Ocon was his usual excellent self this season, as expected, but he didn't have the same trials and tribulations as his teammate last year, yet he only finished 11 points ahead of Fernando Alonso in the drivers' standings, hence why he only comes in at number 10 on this list, and behind the man who has now moved to Aston Martin for 2023. To say Alex Albon overachieved in the Williams last season is a bit of an understatement. Drives on both Saturday and Sunday that produced results that were well ahead of the limitations of the car underneath him, similar to those that George Russell produced a year ago, were often the case with Albon last year. A Q3 position in Belgium, starting at the back of the grid in Australia to eventually take a point come the end of the Sunday, and another point for the team in Spa. And let's not forget the incredibly quick turnaround from being in hospital and missing the Italian Grand Prix to returning 2 weeks later to take the wheel in Singapore. A great season for the British driver. A first ever race win at the British Grand Prix and 6 podiums in the first 10 races of the season. It sounds like a great start to the campaign in 2022 for the Scuderia's Spanish driver, but Sainz failed to maintain a battle with his own teammate at Ferrari as he struggled with the new regulation changes for the season. 6 retirements, 3 of his own making, also hindered what was expected to be a potentially title-challenging year. He's admitted he must make changes to return stronger for next season. Red Bull stated at the start of the season that they didn't care which of their 2 drivers was winning Grand Prix as long as they were winning races and championships. But the green light to compete with his teammate never switched on in the Mexican driver's head. 2 race wins to Verstappen's 15 in the same car clearly highlights that. 7 second place finishes and 11 podiums in total still show off a strong season for most, but the direct comparison asks questions as to why Checo couldn't get the same dominance out of his car that Verstappen could. As for the drama and the rumours around the qualifying crash at Monaco and the impact it allegedly had on his race in Brazil and relationship with Verstappen, it left a bitter taste in the mouth at the end of the season, let alone the long-lasting impact on team chemistry that it could have next year. Another driver in an underwhelming car that managed to get more than was expected out of the machinery. Lando Norris was the only racer outside of the top 3 constructors to stand on the podium in 2022 at Imola, which launches him up this list. Outscoring teammate Danny Ricciardo by 85 points only highlights how poor the McLaren was last season and how well Norris did to get anything out of it. He'll be disappointed by the year, but he got the best out of a very bad situation. Lewis Hamilton sits above Carlos Sainz on this list for a number of reasons, but one major one sticks out. Just 6 points separated the pair in the drivers' standings, yet the Mercedes W13 was by far an inferior machine for the majority of the season. Hamilton's record of a race win in every one of his seasons in F1 is now over, also finishing outside of the top 5 in the Drivers' Championship for the first time in his career. But in a year where he often played guinea pig for his team and where the team relied on his ability to help develop the car to get it so competitive as it was at the end of the season, the 7-time world champion played the team game while driving the living daylights out of what at the start of the year looked like a broken, bouncing fighter jet. The closest challenger to Max Verstappen's crown, yet mistakes cost Leclerc this season. Mistakes from Ferrari for sure, but a number from his own frustrated driving too. 2 wins in the first 3 races only serve now to remind us all it's not how you start, but how you finish in Formula 1, with just 1 win in the 19 races following that. while spins in France and Imola will linger in Ferrari fans' minds that this season Leclerc wasn't quite the complete driver in the sport. The runner-up in the Drivers' Championship will have a point to prove though next season. A rogue position, some would say, but the old head of the grid looks like he could compete with the best if given the right car. Unfortunately, the car he was given last year by Alpine, well, it wasn't the right one. A middle-of-the-season run with 10-point scoring finishes was exceptional considering the Alpine's talents, while early and late-season reliability issues made life far more difficult for the Spanish driver. Think about the second place in qualifying in Canada that was then followed up with a Sunday filled with engine trouble that dropped him down to 7th in the standings with a penalty for his defensive driving, leaving him 9th after the checkered flag. He will hope that Aston Martin next season is the right car for 2023. Another poor piece of machinery that was often expertly handled by one of the young bucks on the grid. So much was expected of George Russell in his first season with Mercedes, and he duly delivered. 35 points ahead of teammate Lewis Hamilton in the standings, 33 adrift of second place Charles Leclerc, and a first race win in Brazil at the end of the season. Expectations were met and then exceeded with 19 finishes in the top 5. Mr. Reliable as he was known could be Mr. Remarkable in 2023 if his team can keep developing their W14 into a car to compete with the Red Bulls. 15 wins, 2 sprint victories and a 146-point margin of victory in the Drivers' Championship. Forget 2021's title-winning drama and forget his team's indiscretions with the budget cap, both of which are things outside the control of the Dutch driver. Max Verstappen was the elite of the elite in 2022. Once the Red Bull found reliability, few could hang with the championship winner, as he made driving so much faster than any other driver on the grid look so easy. A worthy champion with the only downside the incident with his teammate in Brazil. If he can perform like this again, and there is no reason not to, he'll be atop this list a number of times in his career, along of course with the drivers' standings. Is there anybody we missed off our top 10? Should rookie Zhou Guanyu, for instance, have been included? Let us know in the comments section below. Did we get the ordering right? I'm sure there'll be plenty that will perhaps say that George Russell could possibly be ahead of Max Verstappen, considering the fight that he had to have with his own team to get competitive, and then of course with what he produced at the end of the season. As I say, let us know and join us on GPFans.com and GPFans Global on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well for all of your F1 news.